What's up, guys, and welcome back to Morecambe. And we have finished the league. We are into June now. We're kind of halfway into June almost, and everything's finished. All the leagues are finished. And if we go down here, we won the league. We managed to beat out West Brom with a game left in the season. We took the lead with 2 games left to go, and no, took the lead with 1 game left to go. And we went into that final game knowing that if we get a point, we win the league. And we managed to win it. We won the final game, which gave us a 3-point advantage at the end of the season over West Brom. So we managed to win the league. And yeah, if we have a look through as well, you can see Aston Villa, Brighton, Derby and Nottingham Forest are all into the playoffs, which have concluded, and we'll get to that in a second. And down the bottom, Ipswich, Charlton and Blackburn all got relegated. So unfortunate for them, but well, somebody's got to get relegated. FA Cup, we can have a look, see what happened there. And Man City beat out Liverpool 2-1 in the final. Nothing ridiculous happened, really. I think Newcastle getting to the semi-finals is quite impressive. Beating Everton and then losing ultimately 4-0 to Man City. Nothing absolutely ridiculous happening in the FA Cup. In the EFL Cup, however, shit went down big time as Sunderland managed to win it. They managed to get to the final and beat Everton 1-0 in the final. So yeah, that's kind of mad, given that they started off in round 16, they managed to beat Newcastle on penalties, then beat Watford, Middlesbrough, and then obviously beating Everton in the final. But if you look at it, there's only really one big team even got to the round of 16, that's Man United. Like, nobody else, no top 6 team in England managed to get to even the round of 16. Not a great showing by the big teams, the big boys in the league. So I don't really know what happened there. But it's probably not the most entertaining of cups to watch, given that by the time you got to the semi-finals, it was only Sheffield Wednesday, Everton, Middlesbrough, and Sunderland that were left in it. Which, yeah, not the most entertaining of cups. So here we go. Championship playoffs, Derby County will be coming up with us alongside West Brom and obviously us. Derby County will be there in the Premier League next season. They went through on penalties over Forest, and yeah, Brighton, who were actually looked like they were going to walk away with the league halfway through, managed to go out to Derby 3-1 in the semi-finals, and Forest beating Aston Villa 3-2. So yeah, it was. It seems to be the way where the last season it happened as well, where both the 2 playoff semi-final games were really hotly contested, a lot of goals, and then it gets to the final and it's like a penalty shootout, a 0-0 penalty shootout. So it seems like when they get to the final they just sit and defend and hope to take it on penalties. But nevertheless, Derby will be coming up with us. European International Cup means nothing, that was a friendly. Spurs won the Copa Europe, which again means absolutely bugger all. So Barcelona won the Champions League. They beat out Inter Milan 2-0 in the final, and Inter Milan doing very well to get there. They beat Arsenal on away goals by the looks of things. They then beat Chelsea, Sevilla, and ultimately lost 2-0 to Barcelona. But Barcelona had a very... Actually, they didn't have that tough a round. They beat Nice 3-2, then went and played Atletico Madrid. That would have been a tough game, 3-2 again, and then won again 3-2 against Bayern Munich, who... yeah, they did have quite a tough run. Bayern Munich having to play Real Madrid, Liverpool, and then Barcelona before getting ultimately put out by Barcelona. So yeah, Bayern Munich having a very tough time. Yeah, I think that was nothing absolutely outrageous going on there. Inter Milan making it to the finals, probably the most interesting thing that happened. Looking at the group stages, Chelsea walked their group with a 6-0 rate there. They just absolutely destroyed Sevilla, Bruges and Benfica. Group B, Atletico Madrid top the group, again unbeaten. Arsenal second, that's pretty well, that's what you'd expect. Bayern managed to top their group by on head-to-heads, because Lazio drew points with them. So yeah, they lost 2 games, Bayern, which not impressive, not that good, but it was a very tough group, given that Monaco were in there and they couldn't even get through. They managed to go out and drop into Europa League, with Lazio managing to beat them somehow. So yeah, tough group by the looks of things. Group D, Juventus and Leverkusen going through. Juventus going above them again on head-to-head, Zenit and Basel go out. Paris and Porto through. Besiktas, Ajax, very poor showing by Ajax, not even getting into the Europa League. Inter managed to beat Real Madrid, so they had a not only did they get to the final, they also topped their group over Real Madrid, Schalke and PSV, so that would be considered group of death, I would imagine. You got Inter, Real Madrid, Schalke, obviously a pretty decent team, and PSV, I think, who were possibly champions of last season in the Eredivisie, so yeah, not an easy group in any imagination whatsoever. So Inter doing very well. Barcelona managed to beat Liverpool, Sporting and Anderlecht go out, which yeah, I think that's another tough group, but you would expect Liverpool and Barca to come through that. Sporting maybe could have potentially beaten Liverpool, but you'd expect Barcelona to top that group. Galatasaray and Nice on equal points. Spurs go out on 2 points behind. So yeah, another very tight group going on there. I think Spurs could have potentially managed to sneak that, but ultimately couldn't get enough points. Back round to Chelsea. So if we go into the Europa League, we'll now see what's going on with that and who won the Europa League. And Manchester United managed to win the Europa fucking League. Deja fucking vu there, right? innit? Napoli got all the way to the final, beating Tottenham. Managed to beat Tottenham, who dropped out of the Champions League. Then beat Saint Etienne 3-0 and Monaco, which was obviously would have been a tough game, I would imagine. Although I'm not sure what Monaco's squad's like. Actually, I've played Monaco, so yeah, their squad was. I wouldn't say it was very difficult. I think their squad, they've sold quite a lot of their players. I don't think Falcao's there anymore. Looked like they still had like Mendy and stuff, but I think Glick was there. Actually, nice story. Glick got injured in our second game, so he probably wasn't there when they were playing Gladbach and possibly Nice as well. Napoli. So yeah, you'd expect Napoli potentially to win that. I think Napoli have still got a pretty strong squad. I don't think they've sold many players. So yeah, but ultimately couldn't beat Man United, who played all the German teams by the looks of things. They played Dortmund, Wolfsburg, Schalke, and then an Italian side in Napoli in the final. So yeah, all the German teams seem to be getting drawn against Man United. If only Gladbach had managed to make it to the final. So we'll have a look at the group stages quickly and see what happened with this. City topping their group over Guimarães, which was on head-to-heads by those things. They lost 2 games in that group, which, I mean, for a team like City, it's not that good. Dortmund topping their group over at Rio Ave. Again, nothing ridiculous. Stoke managed to go unbeaten in their group, beating Fenerbahce, Boavista and Grasshopper. So, I mean, Fenerbahce is a tough team. Managed to beat them twice. Boavista and Grasshopper, you kind of expect them to win, but I mean, Stoke, I mean, you never know with Stoke. So, yeah, they did quite well. We managed to top our group. I mean, that's just ridiculous. We managed to beat Roma twice. Mold was the only team that managed to beat us. So, yeah, we did very well to get through that group. Bilbao beating out Feyenoord. Celtic go out 7 points from 6 games. You would expect better from Celtic, to be honest. I think they could have done better than that, but they go out nevertheless. Gladbach managed to win their group over Ghent. Panathinaikos and Cork managed to go out. Rubin Kazan managed to win their group over Celta Vigo. Saint Etienne managed to top their group over AC Milan, which is, yeah, that's quite impressive actually. AC Milan only winning 2 of their games, lost 3. I mean, there was 3 teams there, all lost 3 games, and Milan went through on head-to-heads. Krasnodar beat Betis, and Utrecht and Motherwell managed to go out. Rosenborg beat out Napoli, and given that Napoli managed to go all the way to the final, that's quite impressive. Standard Liège as well. So any one of those 3 teams would have been unlucky to go out, I'd imagine. I think they could have all, if they were in a slightly easier group, all 3 of them could have gone through. Man United topped their group over Braga, Sion and Copenhagen. So they didn't lose a game, but they drew 3, which you would expect Man United to do better, given that they won the overall competition. Lyon managed to top their group over Liga Warsaw, Shakhtar Donetsk and Gothenburg go out. You would expect Lyon to top that group, and we're back round to the start. So yeah, nothing mad, apart from us managing to get to the round of 16 in the Europa League, and Inter doing very well as well. If we go and have a look at the other leagues and see what's happened around the world. Right, so Premier League, Man United walked it by the looks of things with a massive gap back to Chelsea, who had quite a large gap back to Liverpool as well. So, yeah, not a very entertaining season. It looks like Man United just walked away with the league. Chelsea the only team to even get close to putting on a title race. So, yeah, not great at all. Liverpool and City go through into the Champions League next season. Spurs miss out by a point, and Arsenal also miss out. So I don't know if Arsenal would imagine probably get Europa League next season by the time. Sunderland won the EFL Cup. Who was it won the FA Cup again? City, wasn't it? City win it? Yeah, I think City won the FA Cup. So Arsenal should get through to the Europa League. Hull, Sheffield Wednesday and Bournemouth all go down. So again, no big surprises, nothing ridiculous going on there. PSG beat out Monaco by a 9-point gap in the end. So again, not a massively entertaining league. It looks like PSG kind of walked it. I mean, you never know. Could have been quite tight going into the last few games of the season, and then Monaco screw it all up. But it looked like there was quite a substantial gap there. In the Bundesliga, Bayern beat Leverkusen by only 3 points in the end, so that's a very tight league that could have gone anywhere. Dortmund as well were up there, only 5 points behind Leverkusen. So yeah, that could have. You never know, that could have completely swung around. Bayern might have missed out. Leverkusen could have potentially won that league that season. So, yeah, it would have been a bit entertaining to watch, but in the end, Bayern ultimately still managed to somehow scrape through and win it. Serie A, Juventus, by a point over Inter. So Inter have had a very successful season. They managed to finish second in the league, taking Juventus all the way to the final game of the season. And they managed to get all the way to the Champions League final. So ultimately, they did very well, but ultimately failed in both pursuits. They didn't have the. I mean, you can consider that a successful season, but I'd imagine they probably look back at it thinking that there was a lot of missed opportunity. So yeah, probably not the happiest of Inter teams or fans. Roma as well up there, pushing them close. Then a bit of a gap back to Fiorentina. Napoli not performing well at all. Massive gap back to not a massive gap back to Napoli, but Napoli very far off the top of the league. So yeah, not doing anywhere near as well in the league as they did in the Europa League. Eredivisie, PSV managed to win by 4 points over Ajax. Alkmaar, big gap back to Alkmaar, and then a point back to Feyenoord. So you'd expect that to be a bit closer between Alkmaar and Ajax, but anyway, it is what it is, and PSV win the league. Porto win the league by quite a substantial gap as well. Benfica and Sporting not too far away from each other, but too far from Porto to cause any real concern. Celtic win the SPFL, Rangers second, 10 points behind, and that's swung around because Rangers won the league, I'm pretty sure, last season. If you go back and watch the start of the series, then you'll see. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that Rangers won the league last season. So Celtic have turned it back around and managed to win this season by a 10-point gap. Hamilton and Kilmarnock both get relegated, which, that's equal points. Hamilton go into the relegation playoffs, but they've not performed well at all. Kilmarnock go down automatically on goal difference, and Hamilton only win 3 games all season. So yeah, the draws, they managed to draw 3 more games than Killie, and that was the difference between automatic relegation and playoff. In the Spanish, in the La Liga, Barcelona managed to win by a point over Real Madrid, and then there's a bit of a gap back down to Sevilla, and then an even bigger gap back down to Athletic Madrid, who really underperformed this season, nowhere near where they would expect to be. And I think finally, Turkey, Fenerbahce managed to win by 8 points over Galatasaray, and nothing too ridiculous going on there either. So I'll wrap it up for the leagues, and yeah, I think that's probably going to end the video. I mean, the squad is still looking pretty decent, a few developments. Kawomia still won't sign a contract, so we're going to have to get rid of him. We're going to have to sell him at the end of the season, start of next season. Dennis Moraes is feeling homesick and doesn't like the weather, so we're possibly going to have to get rid of him as well, which is unfortunate. Rojas is only on loan, so we'll have to get rid of him. And I think I'll probably get rid of all the driftwood. Folk like Wildig, Conlon. Conlon wants to leave because he doesn't feel he's getting enough play time. Wakefield, Murphy. I think basically all the players who have been around from the start of my Morecambe career, who are basically not going to get any better. probably going to have to get rid of them because they're just taking up space in the squad. I think I'll keep a couple of, maybe like Reece Turner, I think I'll keep around, but I think a lot of them will go, and we'll have to do a bit of a rebuild going into the Premier League. There's players that will be good enough to go into the Premier League and some players who will not be good enough to go into the Premier League. I've got the scouts out looking, so we'll come back, and that'll be next week's video, looking at what I've signed and where. Well, it'll probably be transfer deadline day next week, into the summer transfer deadline day, and we'll have a look at what's going on and where we're expected to go from where we are. So yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up this week. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video and the absolute madness that's been going on around the world, which, I mean, there wasn't really that much madness going on around the world, to be honest. Inter getting to the final was probably the biggest. Actually no, Sunderland winning the EFL Cup, that's the biggest madness. So if you've enjoyed that madness, the absolute ridiculousness of Sunderland winning the EFL Cup, then give this video a thumbs up and subscribe as well, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. So until then, cheerio.